All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live. Here with you on a Monday, a new week of Betting Weekly Live. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian as we get you ready for all of tonight's action. We've got Monday Night Football with the Steelers and the Dolphins in Pittsburgh. We've got a bunch of NBA games, couple of hockey games. There's some college basketball. A lot to get to as we start a fresh week here. Doug, good to see you as always. I hope you had a good weekend.
I did. A lot of fun. Saturday was great with college basketball in full swing. We had a little Army-Navy. We got there, rocking chair win with the first quarter under 7.5, being tackled on the 2-yard line to end the first quarter. And then wild stuff in the cup and, a little MMA action. And then I actually did well in the NFL card. So who knew? But yeah, no, great weekend. And the weather out here in Vegas, we're talking 70s, Carver. It's absurd.
Don't get me started, Doug. I had the shovel out yesterday for the first time this year. Earliest snow here on Long Island in like 12 years or something like that. Earliest measurable snowfall on Long Island in like 12 years. So that was what my early part of Sunday was getting all the snow off of the walk before the football did start. I guess the only bad thing for us this weekend was Pavia losing. Like that was the only thing that didn't go well for us. And then he let everybody know that he lost too.
I stand in unison with Diego Pavia.
I do too.
It's really ridiculous. Just so people know, like before the shanked kick by Ohio State, not that the market's always accurate in these kind of silly markets, but like Pavia was favored. Okay. So Ohio State guy misses a kick and then all of a sudden Mendoza wins the Heisman. It's just so stupid. Yeah. Now I know it was a down year. Mendoza was solid, obviously, but I thought he played poorly in all the biggest games, all things considered. And, they were 11-1 last year without him. So I just don't understand, but whatever.
That's how it goes. All right, let's kick things off. Opening line from the weekend. Of course, there was a lot, as you just mentioned, to get to. But with the NFL, pretty big Sunday from this aspect. Two guys that we're very used to seeing, and one who, the Chiefs, it's been forever since they haven't been part of the AFC playoffs. But no Patrick Mahomes, no Chiefs. Mahomes injured as well, tearing the ACL. No Bengals. They're officially out with Joe Burrow. Little changing of the guard for the AFC as we're getting ready for January here, Doug.
Yeah, look, everyone kept sort of martingale in Kansas City and betting on them. It's like, why? Why is all this sharp money coming on the Chiefs every week? Their offense stinks. Their O-line stinks. Now, the Chargers were I know it's a bad spot for them, but you're also laying 5.5. But in terms of the injury, obviously terrible. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. But honestly, take a step away. Like, this is a ridiculous sport that everyone gets hurt at some point, right? Even Brady and then whatnot. And people like Lamar Jackson, who are athletic freaks, also get hurt. And then Joe Burrow's had some weird injuries as well as the ACL. So if it's going to happen, the timing, might as well have it the year they're going to miss the playoffs. But I do think that Kansas City has been sort of arrogant and assuming that Mahomes would just save the day. So I think that maybe this will sort of scare them straight, if you will, and make them address some of the issues they've had with, draft and front office and some other things, because they can't just rely on Mahomes to save the day all the time. Seeing him help carry it off and stuff is going to help them realize, oh, okay, he's not Superman. And this might be a really good blessing in disguise for the second half of his career.
Yeah, it certainly is. And what if, listen, I'm not shedding any tears, Doug, that the Chiefs aren't going to be around in a couple of weeks in January. Definitely will not be. But the AFC is going to look very different when we get to that playoff picture. Superman this year is 17 in Buffalo, Doug. That's who Superman is this year.
I was waiting for your celebratory.
17 in Buffalo. And look, it's amazing. For all that I bash McDermott, and I was killing him again yesterday on Twitter in the first half, I'll say this about him, Doug. For the second week in a row, he actually, made some adjustments at halftime, and the defense kind of got them back in the game in the second half. Both yesterday and last Sunday against Cincinnati, the defense made some big plays. So the Bills, massive win. Keeps them somewhat the door open for them maybe to win the AFC East. I know that that's going to make them even more the favorite in the AFC too, moving forward, especially with Mahomes and Burrow gone. And look, although the Broncos, there it is, plus 325. They're in front of them.
The odds maker still haven't put Kansas City up there just for a huge fine from Gaming Commission off something they cannot won. I understand these odds. I think it's wide open. I think these are fair odds. It's funny that the Bills are second favorite and they're not going to be, they're going to be playing first weekend and not win the division in all likelihood.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Patriots at plus 500 is a little cheap. I really do. I know that it's going to, I think Denver's obviously the pole position to win, had the bye in home field, but I still think New England should be more favorites.
I mean, and really the only thing that's going to be at stake now over these last 3 weeks in the AFC, like I think 6 of the 7 spots are, they're locked. The only one that's really up for grabs is who's going to win that North between the Ravens and the Steelers. I feel like Chargers, Jaguars, Texans, Patriots, Bills, Broncos, they're all in with 3 weeks to go, Doug. That's really what it comes down to is the North that we're going to talk about in a moment, of course, with Pittsburgh as they try to extend.
The South, like who wins the division.
Right. It's more just seeding we know it seems like who the players are going to be, right? We kind of know, we just don't know what chairs they're going to be sitting in yet, but we kind of know who's going to be there once we get to January. And the AFC North is the one that is not going to probably be decided until the last week of the season. And the Steelers tonight look to stay a game ahead of the Baltimore Ravens after their win yesterday. And they have the Dolphins in town for Monday Night Football to finish week 15. Steelers -3 at Bet Rivers right now. 42.5 is the total, Doug.
So this is an interesting line, and I didn't think so at first, but I got a text from a buddy. We've gone to 3.5 here. The market's a little stuck on -3, -20, 25. So he texted me. He's like, "What the heck's going on, dude? Why is the Steelers Dolphins line like 3? Like, have they not been watching the last, 4 weeks?" And I'm taking like the extra hook in some sloppy pick'em leagues where I'm getting the extra half, And I'm like, what should it be? This is a really sharp better. He's like, I don't know, 5.5. Like, this has been ridiculous what the Steelers done. I'm like, well, the Dolphins are on a run too. He's like, yeah, against mediocre competition, but look what Pittsburgh's been doing to shut a lot of critics up. They beat the Ravens in Baltimore. Bills destroyed them. That Bears game was pretty wild, right? And he just thought, and I was like, I don't know if I agree. It's a points at a premium, 3.5 if it got there, which is where it was headed. So I don't know. A little all over the place. The Dolphins are, Tua's kind of phony in the cold. TJ Watt injury is not that significant because he hasn't been typical TJ Watt, right? So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this line. I actually lean Dolphins with the hook. But they're kind of a joke in themselves, right? Like, remember, they were a punching bag for a lot of the season. Now they're back somehow in the playoff mix after winning 4 straight, but they've beat the Jets, the Saints, Commanders, and that Bills game was the ultimate hangover for Buffalo after beating Kansas City.
Well, look, I love this. I love the Dolphins tonight. Actually,
really?
Doug. I love the Dolphins tonight for one reason only. It feels like, and I know it's been against mediocre competition, and especially the half. And I didn't see that it had gone back to the half because last week, early in the week, I did get 3.5, and then it moved to 3. And the half is going to be very important tonight, probably. But the Steelers have given up over 450 yards on the ground the last 2 weeks to the Ravens and the Bills. The Dolphins have actually become like a hard hat running team during this run that they're on. Like, this has not been Tua throwing the ball all over the yard. They are pounding the rock against these mediocre teams. The Steelers can't stop anyone on the ground, and that was with TJ Watt in the lineup. I think that the Dolphins are coming in again. You see the video of them, like they showed up in Pittsburgh the other night. They're all out there with their shirts off in the cold. Like, they know they've got this stigma of losing all these games in cold weather. I think the Dolphins are going to come out and try to smash mouth them.
Maybe. That would be the right approach. That's what Buffalo did to them a couple of weeks ago. So that's the right approach. I just, at some point, Tua is going to have to throw the football.
Right. That does come into play. I will not be happy if Tua is throwing the ball a lot tonight, Doug. That is not my recipe for trying to get home with this. This is Dolphins running the ball. Do you take anything into this? And I don't know how we love talking about streaks and trends. Steelers have won 22 consecutive Monday Night Football home games. You factor that in at all, at home, they get it done on Monday nights for whatever reason.
So, yeah, I mean, I think my job title in this world, I have weird job titles, right? So my brothers who had children used to run some names by me during pregnancy because, I have a sophomoric brain and can sniff out any juvenile teasing that a kid might be subjected to. So they would lean on me to be the expert in sort of a name that might invite some troubled childhood years and torment from immature kids. The other one is any betting trend. I'm good at sort of like breaking it down. So in this case, Tomlin has been a common denominator, I would imagine, during most of that. So that's something to be said about that. And he's a great motivator. The crowd, the environment, something to be about Steelers Monday night. I probably would want to dig deeper into the trend, like how much of it is December and January. But typically these types of trends that go over years usually don't hold true. But, I think there's something to be said. And I think the intimidation of a team like the Dolphins, there's a little bit of a flat spot with a team that's won a few in a row. So I would say I'm a little concerned with their ability to handle the elements and the prime time and things like that.
Yeah, on the flip side of it, Mike McDaniel 0-7 under 40 degrees. That is straight up under 40 degrees.
Well, when you wear your pants half calf, maybe that affects his judgment when he gets a little chilly down there.
It certainly does. Prop for me, as we met. Actually, how about the total first before I get to the player props? 42.5 in what's going to be a very cold night in Pittsburgh. You like points tonight, or you like slow it down?
I'd say slow it down. Dolphins clearly have to run, but to your point, maybe that's their best offense. So maybe they get chunk plays via the run. I don't know what to think of Aaron Rodgers, right? I have probably been wrong on every game of his this year. So who knows? I've been wrong on a lot of Steelers games this year. So I'm a little apprehensive here.
Now I'll get to the player prop. And that is Achane tonight. I already mentioned to you how the Steelers have been they've been getting smashed with the run game. It's 80.5 now, up from 79.5 earlier. Last 4 games, 92, 134, 120, 174. He's been running and he's been getting it done. Even the other guys, Wright gets involved. Gordon's had some touchdowns. I'm in on Achane tonight, Doug. That's the big one for me, hopefully. But can't get down. That would be the thing that worries me if the Steelers came out and got a 10-point lead, 14-point lead, and they abandoned the run. But I think the Dolphins hopefully will be able to smash mouth this thing the whole way.
Okay. So you're feeling big on the Dolphins. Like, I'm polar opposite. I can't get an opinion on this game at all.
And look, I could be getting trapped because like who you talked to said, they've played mediocre competition. During this little 4-game, it's really been more than 4 games, but this spurt that they've gone on to get back to 6-7, Jets, Saints, Washington, Buffalo. So, I mean, the Bills was the Bills defense stinks, as we know. But
what do you think of the total coming up a little bit? I mean, this was like 41 the other day.
41 the other day. I think it's been because for some reason we keep trying to think that these cold weather games are going to be unders. But it doesn't happen. I got, yesterday that Denver Green Bay game was not even close to the under. Plenty of points.
Well, a lot of field goals to start, so that's
a lot of field goals
to keep in mind.
But there was then it opened up quite a bit afterwards. I'd lean to the under with you if I had to go either side of it because of what I'm thinking the game's going to be, and that's the Dolphins running the football and keeping it low. That would be my lean towards it if I had to go on either side of it. So Achane.
I sorry to our audience. I've got nothing here. I mean, I lean with the hook. I lean Dolphins. Steelers have burned me a lot this year. Player props, I don't really have an angle. The monster, Washington or whoever the 6'7" guy from Georgia is, that's always a good option there. Rodgers seems to like him.
He does. Rodgers always loves when he can get the tight ends involved, especially when he gets a big target like that. I'm surprised he hasn't been bigger with Freiermuth this year. Surprised he hasn't had a bigger role considering how much Rodgers' history with tight ends have been. We do got a special at Bet Rivers for this game tonight as well. 12 days of Christmas. Steelers D is mediocre, Petey says. Steelers to score at least 12 first-half points versus the Dolphins. Boosted from plus 105 to plus 130. Steelers to score 12 plus. That's quite the number right there. 12 plus for the Steelers.
I got to look at how they've been faring in the beginning, but to be honest, like the people I really respect are on the -3 here, so they think Steelers can jump on this soft, warm weather team. So I can get behind that.
There you go. Plus 130, not bad. At Bet Rivers tonight, Dolphins and the Steelers in Pittsburgh, Monday Night Football to finish off week number 15. All right, some futures updates. We already talked about the AFC a little bit. Let's do MVP here, Doug, because obviously with Allen beating May yesterday, Allen jumped up. I think he was 14 before yesterday, goes up to 5. May goes to 4, and now Stafford -286 for Stafford. I mean, -286, Doug, makes it feel like it's almost over. Like, I don't feel that way
It's week
at all.
17 or 18. Yeah, but it's not, right?
It's not. It is not over. I don't like that at all. I mean, they could lose to Seattle Thursday night. What's his number then?
Right. So that's the important thing is they're at Seattle, they being the Rams. And look, Devontae Adams is out. We're not sure about Puka, right? Like everything going on there. So, and then the Patriots have a chance because they're in prime time Sunday night. They're Sunday Night Football at the Ravens. So if they bounce back, I think Drake May is worth a bet. Now, Josh Allen's been leading the charge. Last week I touched on it, and I'm like, should we be betting 14-1? Like I can't pull the trigger at 5-1 if they don't control their own destiny. So I wouldn't lay the 285. I'd be really ready here to pounce on if the Rams are struggling. I mean, I remember I was talking about Shanahan a couple of weeks ago or a week ago that if things played out this way, like he's right back in the Coach of the Year run. Yep. So I definitely think the Rams are tentative right now in terms of the their future here, just like the awards and everything like that.
Yeah, and look, but I don't think it's anything beyond those three, right? I mean, it's down to those three with
Bo Nix 75-1's tempting, but no, I don't think that sort of the Red Sea parts. I don't think that's going to happen here.
Could finish what 15-2, first round bye, best record in the NFL.
It's not quite Ryan Tannehill of about 5-7 years ago, but they were the 1 seed and everything. But I just feel like one of those other three can push themselves. And yes, there's voter fatigue, but it's not like people are allergic to betting, Josh Allen this year. Voter fatigue, but it's not voter ban on repeat winners,
Right. You mentioned coach of the year, and I know these awards go up and down in terms of when they're up, when they're there. But I thought going into yesterday, everybody pretty much had handed it to Vrabel, and he should lose points alone for complaining about the refs this morning, Doug. After blowing a 21 zip lead, you can't complain about the refs when you have a 21-point lead and lose. As far as I'm
getting aggressive, all of a sudden it was, "Woe is me," and now
I know I'm
getting a little chirpy.
Nothing like a big 21-point comeback to get you feeling it again, Doug. That gets you going a little bit. But
yeah, I mean, I think the Jaguars, Liam Combs in the discussion. Yes. I think Mike McDonald. I mean, look, I'm usually a savant when it comes to talent, timeout usage and everything. I thought McDonald was awesome, and because I was not seeing it, he was calling those timeouts on D in case the Colts kicked a 50-something yarder, and he had a bunch of time left to go drive the field and get his 55-yarder without any timeouts. So I thought McDonald was fantastic. Obviously, has to win on Thursday. I probably would not take a piece at plus 450 because there's so many other coaches in the mix. But I had a feeling Vrabel would lose his stronghold on -300.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. It is now Travion Henderson is the favorite. Now, remind me again, Doug, of what you mentioned Travion Henderson at, please, because I know it was a pretty big number that you mentioned.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
It was big.
We were just worried about carries because Ramondre Stevenson was getting the usage, and it was stupid because Henderson obviously can have more negative runs here and there, but his upside is there. But Igbuka and that Bucks team, McMillan, Dart, They don't really reward quarterbacks like they do with the MVP, so you can be a non-quarterback. Tyler Shough at 15 to
Tyler
1.
Shook.
He's got the Saints. Saints are playing the Raiders, and they're playing the Titans, and I believe in the next couple of weeks or something like that. No, Jets. Sorry, Jets and Titans. Oh, I would say 15 to 1's probably enough for me to pull the trigger on Tyler Shook. Yes, did you miss huge odds? Yes, but who cares? Right now, 15 to 1, I think, is an option.
Man, Jets and Saints on Sunday. That's a barn burner coming up this week. Jets and Saints.
Howling around the fired defensive coach.
Last one I'll bring up with awards. He did it. He started. He played, and he almost won. Phillip Rivers goes from 20 to 1 to 7 to 1 for comeback player of the year after yesterday.
I don't know. I don't know what this award is. That's the crazy part. There's other people. I mean, McCaffrey is minus money.
Minus 230.
And so
at Bet Rivers.
I mean, what did Rivers do? He threw a couple dinks, and then he had the nice back shoulder down the left side. Look, there were huge games going on. Broncos, Packers, all this stuff. Everyone's watching these games, and I'm glued to the Seahawks game with the Colts because I'm just fascinated by Phillip Rivers. And that underneath timeout is exactly what we envisioned, the dinks and dunks, and that's why I like the under in the game.
Yep.
So I don't think Phillip Rivers is going to win. I don't think he has enough sort of runway to land the plane. I just think there's only a few weeks left. If maybe 3 weeks ago, he would have time. And it doesn't help he's going against the Seahawks and then the Niners next week. Maybe after that, he could probably get some better defensive competition, but they might pull him too if they're eliminated.
They're going to go from 8-2 to missing the playoffs. The Indianapolis Colts. That's tough to do.
After I said that out loud, look, Rivers may get pulled by like week 18, 17 if they're eliminated. So I would not bet this the more I think about this.
You think that once they get him eliminated, and then you get Riley Leonard in there and let him play the last couple weeks. So, but look, Rivers.
You don't need to wheelchair this guy out there.
No, you don't. It's a win that he finished the game yesterday and he got through it and he did a great job. He did everything he could to win the game. And they just came up short. Very unfortunate for them. Also tonight at Bet Rivers, NFL primetime, first touchdown, second chance bet. Players who opt in on the Bet Rivers app or go to betrivers.com will receive a second chance token for any first touchdown wager on each game day of primetime NFL games. See the Bet Rivers app or website for full details. NFL primetime, first touchdown, second chance bet, which of course for me will probably be now first touchdowns. We like to take big bombs usually for them, but I like HN a lot tonight and plus 440 for first touchdown. We got to go bigger than that. Ollie Gordon 15 to 1, Doug, for first touchdown tonight. Ollie Gordon.
I like it. Can I interest you in no touchdowns in the first half?
No touchdowns in the first half.
That's something I can bet. I don't see it on the menu. I just thought it'd be.
We might be able. Max might be able to dig that up if we can find no touchdowns tonight. Dolphins Steeler game. All right. So other than the Dolphins Steeler game, we do have NBA to get to this evening as well. Why don't we, before I even get into tonight's games, let's do this first. NBA Cup. Obviously tomorrow, Doug, will break down Knicks Spurs in Vegas for the championship. But I think we have to at least start our NBA today by talking about how the Thunder aren't going to be playing for the NBA Cup title tomorrow night. What a win by San Antonio there in Vegas in the late game on Saturday.
Really, really impressive. And I know there's, bags of money on the line, but to see that kind of performance and that kind of effort in a regular season game in December and was like peak NBA where you saw these guys who just, if they have an inch open on their jump shots, they hit it. Just absolute beast. Wemby in 21 minutes off the bench, did not play until the second quarter, was plus 21 in the plus minus on a game they won by 2 against the defending champs, a team that was 23-1. I mean, it just tells you how awesome he is. And he was every bit of it. And he's fantastic. I loved what I was seeing. Thunder still the team to beat. That was their first time all year. First time that they had that starting lineup, right? Because Hartenstein had gone out. J-Dub comes back. So but give all the credit in the world to the Spurs. And honestly, like Dallas Mavericks probably made the right move trading Luka and not paying him $350 million, knowing that the Spurs and Spurs and Thunder have this thing locked up for the next 5 to 8 years. And if that was part of the Mavs thought process, it wasn't, because they were trying to win now to get AD and everything. But honestly, like, good luck to the rest of the league, because I think you have no shot.
No shot. It's true. Very, very impressive.
But the Knicks are favored tonight. Who knows?
The Knicks are favored tomorrow, -2.5 against the Spurs. That'll be tomorrow night, 8:30 East in Vegas at the T-Mobile. Tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live, we will get more into that one, as the Knicks got the win over Orlando on Saturday night to give themselves a chance against Wemby and the Spurs coming up there. All right, we have games tonight. Peacock doubleheader. Early leg. Pistons in Boston against the Celtics. Celtics -2 at Bet Rivers. 230 flat the total.
I lean Pistons. The last time they played, Boston won. I think a little revenge spot. Celtics are a nice story this year, don't get me wrong, but they've been sort of all over the place, like pretty erratic, right? They've had some weird losses. They just lost to the Bucks. They were up like 12 after one or something, and then they lose by 15. Weird. Then they had a nice run, beat the Lakers, but the Lakers without LeBron, and like they're just kind of all over the place. I feel like the Pistons are going to care more about this game, but you always got to be careful this time of year. I took a bath on a game yesterday, just because this NBA Cup midseason sort of pause. It's always All-Star break's always dangerous to bet in and out of the break, so I think the NBA Cup's sort of applicable there. So you got to be careful with these games, because you just don't know what happened to these players during the break.
Yeah, it's very tough to get involved with. That's for sure. And the Pistons now 20-5 after that long win streak. They've cooled off a little bit, just a little bit. But that was bound to happen, I guess you could say, Doug. Just a touch. The Pistons have cooled off. They're still 20-5. That's pretty good so far this year. The second game of the doubleheader on Peacock, the Rockets are in Denver against the Nuggets. This one right now, Nuggets -1.5, 237 the total.
For some reason I like Houston here. Look, Denver's been really good, but they're shorthanded, right? They've got some key injuries in the starting lineup with Gordon and Brown. And I think the Rockets are legit. I think the Rockets are going to care a little more about this game, except for Kevin Durant at the end of the half or quarter, because he only cares about his shooting efficiency. But I do think the Rockets get it done. I think they have enough size to throw at Jokic with Steven Adams and some of the other length. I don't think altitude really wreaks havoc with a Houston team that's experienced. So I lean Rockets here. I'm not going to pull the trigger, but I think it's the right side.
I'm with you. I think it's Rockets or anything. Just the way they've played also has been real strong. Both these teams have been great. 16-6, 18-6 so far this season. Next, why don't we go to your Jazz, who are home to the Mavericks tonight. Your Jazz, who are now 9-15. Man, I mean, they're trying to get to 20 by the All-Star break, Doug, the way they're working. The Jazz so far.
Cash those tickets, right?
Cash and tickets early with that Jazz win total. Mavericks -2.5, though, favored in Utah with a big 240.
I think it's a good spot to fade Dallas. Like, they've been pretty solid, right? They've been really solid. Played with their food a little bit against the Nets the other day, but in general, they've been solid. However, a little bit of an injury flying below the radar. Brandon Williams, point guard off the bench. He's questionable for tonight. RJ Nembhard's been the key, though. As long as he's starting, I think we're okay. But the reason the Dallas has sort of turned things around is that they had a real point guard and not Cooper Flag, right? And then Flag off the ball, who was just fantastic in the last game. So I think they're going to kind of play with their food a little too much. Short home dogs, Frankie saying cash. And so I like Utah here. I like the first half over, though. We're going to see some points. I like the Jazz here as well.
We saw another one there. Someone was on Nets money line. I would have to assume that was yesterday against the Bucks. What, they went by 45, Doug, the Nets yesterday against the Bucks?
Yeah, so it's funny. I was talking to an odds maker, and he was talking about, Pro Better. He's like, look at Wemby, talking about the box score. He's like, what's he worth to the point spread? Like 7? I was like, yeah, but I think Giannis is more. This team is ass without him. And then sure enough, that day they go get blown out by the Nets. So 45. Right on cue, Brooklyn Clippers.
Jeez.
Oh, so that we got a first half total here, 123.5. I think the Jazz are going to just like light this up. I don't think the Mavs defense is very good. Not ready to go Clay off the bench. See, I think Clay's better in like more comfortable environment. That was the best bet win on Friday that cashed with 5 minutes to go in the first half. I think this is a game where he could go off, but I think he's like he's very fastidious, which is easily disgusted. Like he needs to be in his controlled environment for him to go off. And then, a team like that, Nets at home, is a better one than I think this one. I think he gets his because the over-under is so high. But Clay's like can be a little disrupted by, the surroundings of the altitude and whatnot.
We had both sides of the spectrum on Friday night with the Daily Double. We had an absolute rocking chair first quarter win for Clay, and then a bite your nails down to the very last second Hornets plus 3.5. Foul shots, fouling, missed shots, and but the Hornets got home. They lost by 3, and then didn't they win?
The rocking chair, and the electric chair.
Yes,
so we
had them both. And then the Hornets followed that up by didn't they beat the Cavs yesterday? The Hornets did they beat Cleveland yesterday? I think so. The
Hornets, went to overtime. Yeah, went to overtime though.
Went to overtime, but they did get themselves a win over the Cavs on the road. Let's finish up tonight. We'll go to the Grizzlies and the Clippers next. This is a late night game just after 10:30 East out at the Intuit. Clips -4 and a 228.5.
I've heard people say I wouldn't bet the Clippers with your money. Now I get the joke, but yeah, I can't bet the Clippers. I'm sorry, they're just a disaster. Now they've been pretty good in certain situations. They're not like a complete dumpster fire ATS, so it's not like you got to automatically fade them every game. You got to be careful. Grizzlies are much better as a favorite, to be honest. These teams just played. The Grizzlies won at home, so I bet you the Clippers probably take it to them. But I like this Memphis squad until Morant gets back. I like this team of like hodgepodge and no names, chip on their shoulder, because they're pretty darn good.
I like how you say at least till Morant gets
Morant. Yeah, I don't like Morant. He's wasted. Yeah. And Zion. So like the old Zion versus Morant. I think Zion's winning it now. He's like playing well, and the Pelicans are,
I actually had a Knicks fan tell me last week that the Knicks ended up getting the best pick of that with RJ Barrett. That's what the Knicks somebody told me.
They'd have Zion so fast.
And I said Zion in New York. But now look, would he have been able to stay healthy or stay in good shape? I don't know about that. But Zion healthy is the best out of that little top of that draft right there. It's just hard to ever have him in that spot being healthy.
Raptors are a bet on team these days. I had them yesterday, blew out the Bulls.
Yep. Oh, man, the Bulls still all kinds of problems. Raptors in Miami against the Heat. Our last game tonight. Heat -6 at Bet Rivers, 235.5.
Feels a little high.
Yeah.
This feels a little high. Miami, I will say, though, they could come out like a gangsters. Like they've lost 4 straight going into the break. They got eliminated by the Magic in the quarterfinals. They could really want to take it to them. But my Toronto Raptors have also lost 4 straight. I just worry if the shine is coming off them a little bit. I don't know if there's the Miami flu for the Raptors being down there, for a couple days. 6 is also, it's not 3, it's a big number.
Yeah.
And Miami hasn't been right, honestly, since Hero came back. So I'm a little uneasy about this game.
Raptors plus the 6.
Okay.
You sold me. You sold me on the other side. Raptors plus the 6. Let's go in Miami against the Heat. So there you go. NBA for tonight. 5 games we've got. And tomorrow, NBA Cup championship between the Knicks and the Spurs. We will talk about that on Betting Weekly Live's Tuesday edition for us. How about some pucks next for us? Dougie Pucks in the house. 5 games tonight in the NHL. You do get to watch one on NHL Network, and that is the Panthers and the Lightning. 2 teams, there's really not that many great rivalries, teams that hate each other, things like that in today's professional sport. The Panthers and the Lightning, and they hate each other. They get into brawls on the regular when they play each other. That's because the Panthers have been knocking them out of the playoffs every year during this run with Kachuk and Maurice and the crew. So they get back together tonight in Tampa. Lightning -127, Panthers +104. and a total is a flat 6. I actually like the Panthers here, Doug, because Panthers have been playing better hockey now, aside from that night in Colorado where they got waxed by the Avalanche. I think they've won 4 of their last 5. Lightning have been kind of spotty. They're coming off losing to the Islanders again. The Lightning have lost the Islanders 3 times in the last week and a half after losing on the island on Saturday afternoon. But Panthers have owned the Lightning over the past couple years, particularly in the playoffs, but even in the regular season, beat them 2 out of 3 last year. I'm going to go with Panthers tonight, plus 104 against Tampa.
It's the most intriguing game on the card, I think.
It is. Well, maybe. I'm going to give you another one next that could be more intriguing also. But yes, that is a very intriguing game.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're taking the dog here. That surprises me. Yes. All right.
I like the way the Panthers have started playing. They even went into Dallas and got a win, which is a very tough place to play. Now, this is the end of a long trip for them. They just got to take a little stop in Tampa on the way back to Sunrise. Lightning have been very hit or miss recently.
Oh.
It's Panthers for me. We're going to go Panthers tonight. Now, you want...
Has the switch been flipped for Florida?
It's possible. We talked about that before the Colorado game. That's the one game they've lost in this little 5-game stretch. It's possible that they're flipping it because this is kind of like, because of how the schedule works this year, you're kind of getting into what would normally be January games right now with basically no games in February. So it could be kind of flipping the switch time for them. Now, if you want storylines, I can give you some at the Garden in New York City, where the Ducks are in town to see the Rangers. This will be a return for a bunch of guys on the Ducks, particularly Chris Kreider, who, of course, spent his entire career with the Rangers before being traded in the offseason. Jacob Trouba also was with the Rangers the last couple of years. He's on Anaheim now. Also, you have Mika Zibanejad, one of the Rangers' best players, who isn't going to play tonight because he missed a meeting this morning. So Sullivan is sitting him. So there's a lot of storylines for Ducks-Rangers. Ducks have lost the first 2 legs of the New York City trip here. They lost the Islanders and the Devils, so they're looking to get a win. I like Anaheim, but I'm going to play this Chris Kreider goal. Coming back, one of plus 180, man, this thing's been hammered down. It was 200 this morning, 200, 205. Now it's down to 180. Him back, huge moments as a Ranger. Fan base loves him. He loves the big stage, always scored big playoff goals for them. I got to have a little splash on Kreider to score back at the Garden, Doug.
Does this typically happen? I think I asked you this earlier in the year because we had a similar situation. Do teams sort of get after it? Are teammates more pass happy to them? A little extra oomph here?
I think that the way that the relationship ended, because I don't believe Kreider ever wanted to play for anybody else besides the New York Rangers. I think because of that kind of way where it wasn't really his decision. You know, guys leave and they'll sign as a free agent somewhere, things like that. I don't know if there's the same hostility. I don't think he ever wanted to put on another sweater. So I think that there could be, I know for a fact Trouba didn't want to leave. Now, Trouba didn't have as much history with the Rangers as Kreider did, but I think you're catching a couple guys who would love to win tonight, and Kreider especially to score a goal. Garden would explode, even for a visiting player, if Kreider scored tonight. So I'm going to take a shot with it.
Sometimes it can be really draining, like especially if it's back at the arena. I mean, they're talking to like the people in the tunnel, like all these, former people that were in part of their day-to-day life. So I don't know, man.
Here's why I'll say that maybe that's not going to be the case here. They have been in the city for about a week now. They have been in New York playing the other two teams. They haven't been traveling. He's done probably all his meet and greets with he's probably gone out to dinner with his best friends on the team. He's probably said hello to. I think it's not like he got into town last night and it's a whirlwind of saying hello to everybody. I think he's had time to soak it in and been there in town. I think it's now just, I want to go out and stick it to them. That's kind of what.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely like the desire. No doubt about that.
Yeah. But I think I agree with you. Sometimes that is very tricky when a guy goes back the first time. Sometimes guys don't have a lot of time to take it in. It's a bit of a whirlwind. I think he's had enough time, that being that this is a perfect spot in this trip, the last game of the 3 games there in New York, where he's been there enough time in town that he's done all his highs and goodbyes and all those things. So Rangers and the Ducks tonight. Rangers are minus 121. Ducks are minus 103. Total's a flat 6. Everywhere else, you have Ottawa in Winnipeg against the Jets. Nashville's in St. Louis against the Blues. You could get one of your nice revenge spots here, Doug. Remember, Nashville beat the Blues 7-2 last Thursday night, not even a week ago. They crushed them in Nashville. So maybe you get a little bounce back from St. Louis here this evening. And not a bad price. But the Predators have, like I mentioned that night, they've been playing some better hockey. That would probably be the one thing that would worry me about going after them there. But revenge spot.
Nothing for me. Nothing moving the needle. I see your revenge spot, but it's.
I'm not there. I'm not playing. I'm not playing the game. It's really the Ranger game and the Anaheim and Florida for me tonight. Even the Kings in Dallas. You're getting Dallas at a little bit shorter than usual at home at 134. Kings are a very good road team. Kings particularly played Dallas pretty tough. But Stars are also coming off a couple losses too. So they've lost a couple games. There are some rare losses. They lost to Minnesota and Florida the past couple times out. But I can't go against the Stars. I wouldn't take the dog side of it either, Doug. So I think it's just those first 2 games I mentioned to you out of the 5 tonight in hockey.
How about the Igloo? Pittsburgh blowing leads.
Now that
shocking,
is
right?
That's going to start to become a nice live betting spot. We got to start jumping on the other team when Pittsburgh takes a lead, 2-goal lead, 1-goal lead, because they can't hold them.
5-1 in the third.
5-1 in the third.
And they lose to the Sharks. Then they go up 3-0.
Utah.
And lose.
Yep. Not good. They traded Jari away to Edmonton over the weekend, too. They got Skinner back. He stinks, too. So I think the Penguins are starting to unravel a little bit, Doug, especially when you blow a couple games like that. When's the next time we can pick on them? When are the Penguins back out? It's probably tomorrow, I would have to think. And they're playing the team. That's a weird spot. They just made the goalie trade with Oilers, and they're going to play the Oilers tomorrow night.
Okay.
They're going to probably see the guy, Tristan Jarry, who's been your goalie for forever, and he's going to be on the other side. They know him so well, Doug. Maybe that's a Penguin play on tomorrow night. They know Jarry. They know who to beat Jarry.
Start out strong.
We're getting close to the Kraken's next back-to-back. I know that's also on your radar.
Countdown clock on the screen is what we need.
Yeah, yep. Hockey tonight, 5 games. The college basketball is very tough this evening. I was looking through the slate. Wofford and Gardner Webb, Niagara and VCU. I mean, there isn't even a game I could say, Incarnate Word and TCU getting together. There's not a lot there, Doug, tonight. But it was a great weekend of college basketball. It's a great weekend.
There was.
But I don't think
I got nothing today. I mean, these games. And you do have to be careful like this time of year too. Just like no kids on campus, all that stuff. You just got to be really, really careful.
I will use this time to tell you, since there's no games of significance tonight in college basketball, I will use this time to now tell you that at Bet Rivers, Michigan is now plus 425 to win the national championship, as they have been smashing everyone that they play. And it's like a pretty good gap to Arizona at 850. I mean, 425 to 850 is a pretty good gap. Arizona's the second choice, then Duke and UConn at 10. And Iowa State.
How about not covering by a point on Saturday? So not only did they not win by 40, they did not cover by like a half. Although when we were discussing the game, I think we had the cover depending on the closing line and everything.
Yes, and Gonzaga beat UCLA late night on Saturday night, and they're 14-1 now to win the whole thing.
And we saw that coming. They covered it. We were thinking 8.5, and it got there. By 10, So, and I think it went under. We liked under too.
We did. We did like that. The only one that I whiffed on Saturday was Michigan State. Penn State ended up giving them a game.
Yeah. Me too. I had you there. Alabama got rolled too. Let's not sleep on Arizona, number one team in the country. I mean, that was incredible. But Nebraska with the outright 11-0.
I guess
2-0 in conference.
we
Give
have
them credit.
we have to start taking Nebraska seriously. That's what we're going to have to start doing going forward. Now, tomorrow we'll have a good slate of games. I know Louisville's playing Tennessee tomorrow. Big East play starts. A little Butler UConn tomorrow night. St. John's and DePaul. I can't believe DePaul's still in the Big East. They stink.
But they're back. I mean, they're back to competency. They were like the worst team in college basketball a couple of years ago.
They were awful. All right, NCAA hoops for us. It is time. Best bets and the Daily Double for Betting Weekly Live for a Monday night. Kind of a limited slate. We've got the football game. We've got a bunch of NBA, 5 NHL, not a lot of college hoops. I'm going to go to Achan and the Dolphins. Really feel good about this. The way that they've been running the football, the way the Steelers have been getting run over. I know it's cold and Miami's a warm weather team going to Pittsburgh. They've had the hard hat on the last couple of weeks. I'm going Achan over 80.5 for my side, Doug.
I think it's a smart play because you can get there in a win or a loss. You want a big chunk play here and there and a good running game, but he's special out there, and I don't think the Steelers defense can do much against the run. The Bills demonstrated that a couple of weeks ago. I think that is the best path to victory or plan of attack for Miami. I think it's a sharp outlook. Don't love this card in the NBA. It's a very small play for me, but I'll do first half over in the Mavericks Jazz game. I think we see some points out of Utah. I think the Jazz ultimately win, but I like the first half over. I think we're going to see a lot of points here.
All right, so first half over 124.5 in the Mavs and the Jazz, and we're going to put that with Achan over 80.5 rushing yards, plus 261 for the Daily Double tonight as we look to make it 2 in a row on Betting Weekly Live after Friday's rocking chair and electric chair with the Hornets and Klay Thompson. We'll try to make it, hey, I don't care if it's easy or not, Doug, as long as we get there. Achan in the first half over with Dallas and Utah. All right, there you go. Betting Week Live. We're back tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. We will start to look towards Week 16 in the NFL. Down the stretch we come, a massive Thursday night game between the Rams and the Seahawks. We are going to have a ton of college basketball, as I just mentioned. We have the NBA Cup Championship with the Knicks and the Spurs. And tomorrow, Doug, will also dabble in a little bit of college football because it's starting to happen, Doug. You're hearing it. This one's not playing. That one's out. This one's going to be over here. That one's going to be over there. And that means, Doug, what? All these bowl lines, these opening bowl lines are going to start to move a lot. So I think tomorrow we're going to have to take a look at a few of those.
And it's going to be happening every day. I mean, that's the thing, because some teams don't want to tell their opponents that certain quarterback's going to be, out of the lineup. Now, it's one thing if a guy's transferring, you might catch wind of it. But let's not forget last year, Syracuse in the Holiday Bowl opened 7.5, reached as high as 20, and closed 19, and it landed 17. Because that was when John Mateer announced he was transferring. Their coach was going to Wake, I want to say.
Yes.
And they had all the assistants, quarterbacks coach, OC, and it moved drastically and it landed 17. So keep that in mind. Line moves are on the way. For example, I haven't made it official, but I'm not participating in a bowl pool this year. In the past, I used to do 3 or 4, then it was down to 1 every year. But if you have to turn the picks in at a certain date, like this week, I don't know who's going to, there's going to be late sort of withdrawals or opt-outs. So something to keep in mind. But the playoffs are also a few days away as well, Carver.
It certainly is. And that was another, by the way, hanging by a thread all the way to the end, my under in the Washington-Boise State game Saturday night, as I had to sit there and watch Jed Fish throwing the ball up 38-7 or whatever the score was, 38-10. He's throwing the football with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Can't just take a knee on it. He's got to get those reps in for the third-string quarterback. Make sure he keeps throwing. But we got there, Doug.
Fortunately, Madsen shrunk 3 inches, and every pass he threw was deflected at the line of scrimmage. So that was nice until he was finally pulled.
Doug, tremendous job, as always. We'll see you back tomorrow here. Betting Weekly Live, of course, Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Good luck tonight. Enjoy all the games, and we will see you back here tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live.